Hi guys, Dane here from CVF Offroad. Today we're going to do a bumper installation on this 22 Ram pickup. These instructions will work for 2019 to 2023 currently for the 25 and 3500 pickups. The first thing we're going to do is get under the truck and disconnect the harness for our parking sensors. Once the harness is disconnected, we can go right into removing the tow hook bolts with a 24mm socket. Now that the last bolt's been removed, we can repeat the same process on the other side. And now we can remove our tow hooks. Now we can loosen the two bolts from each side that hold on the bumper. We need an 18mm socket and a 18mm boxed in wrench. Repeat the same thing on this side. Remove both bolts. We'll leave one in so we don't drop the bumper on our head. That'll be the last thing holding the bumper on. So we left one bolt in place to keep the bumper secured. We can go ahead and slide that bolt out now, and then the bumper's ready to slide off. We will move into removing this air dam next. There's going to be two bolts, 10mm on both sides, and then 3 push pin clips underneath. We'll remove those now. We're going to reuse the factory wiring harness for the parking proximity sensors. So we'll start by removing the fog light housings from each side, and then we can unclip our parking sensors all the way across the bumper and remove the harness. Now that the harness has been removed, we can go ahead and remove the clips for each one of the 6 parking sensors. We'll use those on the new bumper. Now we can install the bumper mounting brackets. These will reuse the factory mounting locations on the frame rails. 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom over here on the side. This flat side points towards the outside of the truck. The tab side will face in, so they'll go on like so. And we'll reuse the factory hardware. We will repeat the same process on the other side, and we'll torque all bolts to spec. We will be installing a winch on this truck. So the next step is going to be installing our winch bracket. If you're not using a winch, you can go ahead and skip this step. We'll go ahead and start by sliding the bracket up underneath here along the intercooler and then rocking it back out to where it lines up with these 4 bolts, and there's also 2 bolts on the inside of each one of these brackets. Then we can secure with a bolt, washer, and nut. Same thing on the other side. Once the top 2 bolts are in, the last 6 bolts can also be installed, and they can all be torqued to spec. All winch bracket hardware will be tightened with a 3/4 socket and a 3/4 box end wrench. Now that all the bolts are tight and secure on the winch bracket and the bumper mounts, we can go ahead and install our winch using the manufacturer's supplied hardware. We're at the point now where we can start doing some bumper assembly. So we'll start with the side plates. These will go in backside forward and get these secured on both sides. The parking proximity sensor for the sides we mounted here in this hole. So we'll use this little insert, put him in place, and screw him down. The parking sensor retainers can be installed now on the side plates that we put in so far. We'll do the middle later on, so just the 4 for now. We'll go ahead and install our pod lights next into our side plates. These pod lights give you the ability to adjust the light angle side to side, as well as up and down with these mounts. So we'll go ahead and flip the bumper over and install those now. The next thing we'll do here is lay in our factory wiring harness. Remember, the plug-in goes on the driver's side of the vehicle. So we'll start by fishing this through, and we can plug in our parking proximity sensors too while we're doing this. Go ahead and use the supplied sticky pads to secure the factory harness. Doesn't need to be tight, just snug. The bumper's ready to go on the truck now, so we'll install these bolt strips to each side, one on each side to start with, kind of like so. And then we'll grab a friend. Make sure you have a nut and a washer ready, because you'll want to get it started for safety, and then we'll put the rest of them on. Now that the bumper bolts and everything are tight, we will go ahead and install the front plates. One nut snug on each side. You can now move the bumper left or right, get it lined up, set our height, and start locking the nuts down. Now the bumper's secured, all the nuts are tight, we'll go ahead and install a bull bar on this bumper as well. So we'll get this guy lined up, get him started. We'll install one screw per side to hold it in place, and then install a nut finger tight. From there you can torque those down and install your last 2 screws and nuts. Bull bar secured. We'll plug in the wiring harness now for the parking proximity sensors, so crawl onto the driver's side here. And we'll also install one of the sticky pads with a zip strip, and that will hold the harness out of the way. Home stretch. Last thing to do is install the front plate. First thing we'll do here is install our parking sensor retainer clips on both sides. And then we can lay them into place. Feed our winch rope through. And then we can tighten all the screws once you have a couple started. Now we can reinstall parking sensors. Now the sensors are clipped in, go ahead and install our inspection covers. This to both sides. Lastly, the tow hook. that will complete the bumper installation of the Legion Series bumper on the Ram heavy duty pickup. Don't forget, we have lots of different color and lighting options, so check all that out on cvfoffroad.com. If you have any technical questions or installation questions, give us a call or shoot us an email. Thanks for watching.